Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast with me, Tom Rust. Delighted today to be joined by professional boxer Chris Jenkins. Thanks ever so much for your time, mate. I know you're a busy man and you've literally been walking around to try and find a quiet space, so we appreciate your time.
No, anything, mate. It's nice to get asked for an interview. And we've had one hell of a day today, from hanging about COVID tests to hanging about for the weigh-in to hanging about again now for the public one. But, it's all part and parcel of it. I'm going into my 30th fight now, so it's second nature to me now.
And then you've got people like me pestering you for an interview. That's all you need.
Hey, mate, you know what I mean? It's always, at the end of the day, if you don't give back, how do you expect yourself to get the exposure and, show the person that you really are, rather than what people may think of you as a person? So it's good to get you as a person out there as well, isn't it?
Yeah, no, of course, it works both ways, but we are grateful. You've done this, of course, many times before, press conferences, weigh-ins. Do you enjoy that side of boxing?
Yeah, yes and no, because we're having an interview now and I'm really bad with my speech, believe it or not, because I speak so fast. So I got to think in my head what I got to say before I just blunder something out. And sometimes I'm mumbling more than speaking. So, but yeah, it's great to be on that top table and looking down and seeing all the fans and just seeing people and taking photos. It's nice to be in the public eye.
And I imagine as well now you're probably getting quite itchy knuckles. You were involved in an incredible card of boxing tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Eubank Williams headlining the event. How does it feel for you as well? Because not only are you on that card, it's in Cardiff as well. So you must be absolutely buzzing for it.
I'm over the moon. This fight no one's seen coming. Me against a former unified world champion. And to be in Cardiff, literally an hour's drive from where I live. Because I'm actually from a little place called Lice, down towards Swansea. But it's going to be amazing. We're going to have all the Valley boys up there. You're going to have boys from everywhere, every part of Wales. But you're going to have obviously got some English fighters on there, so they're going to be down as well. So I think it's going to be absolutely crazy atmosphere now tomorrow. I think it's 5,000 people there.
I was going to say, if you follow boxing, there's no other place to be tomorrow night apart from watching the fight. And I was going to say as well, you was getting me to pronounce where you lived yesterday, and didn't go too well. What can you tell us about your opponent then? Because as you were just mentioning, he's been in with some of the best there is around the sport. What sort of fight are you expecting come tomorrow night?
The resume speaks for himself. A former unified world champion, beat Ricky Burns, obviously lost to Terence Crawford. Look where Terence Crawford is now. With just progress he lost to. Look where he is. And the other lad he boxed and lost to was the one who beat Sam Egan. And so the only losses he's had is against high quality fighters, So, I've got my work cut out. I think he's going to come. He's knocking on a bit. So it's going to be like all or nothing for him. People are saying it about myself, but personally, I think I'm going to be a little bit too fresh for him, but I've got my work cut out.
Yeah, he might be coming to the tail end of his career. However, the opponents that he has lost to, they are some of the best in the business. So I imagine you've been training for an incredibly tough night tomorrow.
Yeah, training's gone great. We've had some hard sparring with Kyron Jones, another professional in the gym, a stablemate. He's an ideal southpaw for what I needed. And I've also been sparring with Conor Walker, who's fighting for the welterweight English title. So camp's been really tough. And I just got to execute what I've been doing in training on fight night, and hopefully come away with a good win, and let's have a good end of my career, if you know what I mean, because I know I'm at the last chapter of my career, so it'd be nice to get a good few wins and just make some money for once.
Coming on to that, at the stage of your career now, coming off the back of a defeat last year, how important is it for you personally to get the win tomorrow night?
It's massive. 2 L's. What's going to come next? you don't know. So I'm going to be just focused on getting the win. Obviously, it was tough. I was in a bad place after I lost, but with a great team around me and Gary, and good family, my wife and things, and good friends. I'm back focused and I'm driven like I was when I first turned pro 8 years ago.
Because as you said, countless times, you don't want to be fighting any journeyman. You're at that stage of the career now where I suppose it's make or break. You want to go out there and put on a good performance. I understand as well you're a free agent at the minute. So is the plan to go out there, put on a decent performance and be signed by a boxer or another, promotional outfit?
You know what? Whatever happens after this fight happens. People say I don't have no luck in this game, but I haven't done too bad. So hopefully I get a good win, good performance, and maybe boxer signs me up or gives me a contract for next fight, or I don't know. But for the minute, I'm one of them people who doesn't want to take a walk, so I'll just take this fight and see what happens, and then we'll let Gary, my man Jimbo, then sit down and see what the next steps are.
And how hard was it? You did touch on it, but how hard was it to come back? Did you even did you ever consider sort of hanging up the gloves, or was it always the case of getting back in the ring at some point, just not knowing when?
Yeah, I'd be honest with you, I think I was done with boxing. Even though I was the champion, I'd gone, I think, 12 to 18 months out to fight, holding 2 belts, and then to come back and that happened, and then box on 6 rounds and lose. We had a good chat with Gary and my wife and that, and then, just sat down and think, and I just said to myself, look, don't be, grow up, get on with it. There's still a bit of life left in you, so if we can have a good few more fights now, and just do what I can.
And if there's one fight that's going to get you motivated, this has got to be the one, fighting in Cardiff in front of your home fans, on Sky Sports, on such a huge bill. Everyone I'm talking to is incredibly buzzing from top to bottom. It's a great night of boxing.
Mate, it's massive, unless you're living it and part of it, like myself and Reese. Like Reese is on the card, Reese Edwards. He's 11-0 pro, but he's never had this before. To me, it's kind of second nature. But even when I'm walking in today with the final head-to-head, and the whole setup is so professional and stuff, and I honestly cannot wait for tomorrow now.
Well, we wish you the best of luck come tomorrow night. You just touched on Reese Edwards. We had him on the channel earlier on in the week. It was a pleasure.
Yeah.
Really likeable young man. How good is he? Because I understand you're in the same stable.
Yeah, we're in the same stable. I'm like his older annoying brother at times because I wind him up so much. But he's got Gary Lockett, the former champion himself, being there, got a t-shirt. He's got me, who's been British College Chairman. I got the experience, and he's coming along at the right stage. 11-0 on the small hall, done his apprenticeship. Now it's time to, for people to see him and see how good he is. I got my opinion on him. He's absolutely quality. People will see him and thinking, yeah, he's a good kid. He's something big, and he will be.
How different is it then? Because we had him on the channel, as you said, he's 11-0, undefeated. He's previously fighting on the small hall shows. To now jump up and fight on such a big platform where you have to do the media events, speak to lots of outlets, do the weigh-ins, do the press conferences. From going to the small hall show scene to that, how different is that? And how do boxers really sort of deal with that? Is that something that just gets in the way, or is it something that people enjoy, or is it just sort of a personal preference?
It's each their own, isn't it? Like I like it, I do. I don't like all the when you weighing in and you got to do a little bit of banter and things to rile the crowd up. I like it when they're respectful to everyone. But the difference between this and the smaller shows is 9 times out of 10, you're fighting on a Friday, you're weighing at 6:30, and you're fighting by 7:30. Now, we've been up here since today, and it's all structured, and these things you can only dream of, and unless you've done it, then this is going to be memories that live with me forever.
Of course, fighting on Sky Sports tomorrow night, huge platform. And just one more from me. I know you're pushed for time, and we do appreciate your time, but we've got to talk about Liam Williams. Huge fight tomorrow night against Chris Eubank. Firstly, you know, obviously you're in Wales. You know, you live in Wales. What's the general feeling, you know, around the place? You know, are people looking at it as a 50-50 fight?
I think the boxing experts and the people who know boxing are looking at it. It is a 50-50 fight. Like, I'm a professional fighter. I think it's a 50-50 fight. But then, mate, they're buzzing. They're absolutely nuts. The crowd just now here for the weigh-in. Honest God, the roof of this place nearly blew off. They were passing. There was only about 200 people, if that. There's gonna be 5,000 in there watching the fight on tomorrow. So, you know, it's just crazy, mate. I'll be honest with you. The fight outcome, I think Liam's a lot more of a better boxer than Chris Eubank is. Keeps it smart, boxes nice. You know, there might be a sticky patch here and there for him where he'll have to hold his feet. But I think he just boxes him smart and beats him on points.
How important do you think it is that for him to keep his emotions, you know, in check? It's well documented. They clearly have a strong dislike for each other. How important is it, you know, again, do you feel like he's just got to stick to a game plan and not get too emotionally involved?
But that is it. You know, I think he's been pro long enough, so he should know, you know, what will happen if his eye goes off the ball. So, you know, we just need to keep it focused, listen to his cornermen, and don't get sucked in by the crowd.
And just a final one from me. What's your prediction for that fight?
I think Liam will just outbox him. He's too smart, and I think he'll win it close points.
On points?
On points, yeah.
Perfect. Well, listen, mate. I imagine that tomorrow night you'll be fighting back in that changing room, and you'll be back out there ringside to watch the fight. Yeah,
mate, I'll be there as soon as I get my fight out of the way. Obviously, got a job to do first hand, and then I'll be out there supporting Liam then. And obviously, if Free Sandbox, I'll be supporting him as well.
Perfect, absolutely, mate. Well, listen, thanks again for your time. I know that you've had a busy day, so we'll be rooting for you. All the best come tomorrow night, and we will catch up with you soon.
Thank you very much for the time, mate. Appreciate that.